Hello all, and let's today try to understand few common errors while writing a Java program. So I'm going to show you as an example a program related with string. So let's try to get rid of all the errors that we normally encounter while compiling the program. Number one, I'm not using any IDE over here. So what we need to understand is main is going to be the entry point of any program. You can go on to have many methods in a given class. Main is going to be the driver program, the driver function. Main is the main function. So when I have to use conventional Java, execute it using command prompt without the main method, the rest of the methods will not execute at all. Compilation will be correct. You will go on to see that the program is compiled, but you cannot go on to interpret it. The interpreter will fail because it fails to find out the main method. Now when we are defining method in a class, the order of the method definition can be any, which means I can first go on to define the main method and then method number 2 and then method number 1 in any given order. Nevertheless, we normally try to write all these small modules first, and then we try to use the main method. So this is basically known as bottom to top approach. All small modules, functions which are called inside the main method, which is the point of execution. Main is a static method, which means when the program is interpreted, we will also try to see how the program can be interpreted, executed. So when the program is executed, no object needs to be created to invoke the main method. This particular method by the name of print is also static, which means from a static reference you can call the static method. Since it is part of the same class, this method print is part of the same class, and hence without any object or neither the class name. In case main is present in a different class, how do we invoke a static method? From a static reference main, I'm going to make use of class name dot static method print. Alright, so let's start understanding how to compile and execute the program, and further which we will try to understand the errors that we normally encounter. Number one, make sure that the class name does not clash with the predefined class names. It's a very common error that we normally tend to take the class name as string. We tend to take the class name as character, which is also a predefined class. We tend to define a class by the name math in uppercase M. So these are all predefined classes in Java. Do not use a name which have already been defined in Java. Even if you have defined a class like maths, again when you are trying to create a different class, you cannot go on to use the same name because the class maths is already existing in your system. So nevertheless, try to take a different name, try to use appropriate names. Alright. So let's first compile it. There are a lot of errors in the given program. We are just trying to understand what can be the errors. So number one, I need to save the file. This file was already saved, so I click on save as just to show you how to save the file. So this is the location where the JDK tools are installed or located in the system. So the name of the class dot extension is going to be Java. Just go on to make this as all files. save as type is going to be all files. So I save the program. This is already existing and hence I ask it to replace it. No issues. Alright, so now I need to open the command prompt. So go on to search for the command prompt, type cmd, and in case you do not have it on the desktop, you can just go on to open the command prompt. Just give me a moment. Alright, so what we have is the command prompt present here. Two windows open. Okay. So now I just need to make use of some DOS commands. cd/ will bring the control out of all these folders present. cd followed by jdk, change directory followed by jdk, inside which you have the folder bin where you have actually got all the tools necessary for compilation and execution, and even the file strings.java is also present inside bin. Now I need to compile it. So we have the command known as javac followed by .java, strings.java. Alright, so what you have is one single error, rather two errors. So you can see it says that class interface or enum expected. So let's go on to find out what exactly would be the error. So we have the method block here. This is the for block. The method block is missing. So this is the block for the method print, and we have the main method ending here. So one of the braces, we have an extra brace. I save it and then again I go on to execute it. Before execution I need to compile it, don't forget that. It's taking a time. Okay, so let's now understand the errors one by one, and we will also understand what exactly would be the program. Okay, so let's understand what exactly print is going to do for us. It receives a parameter of type string. We are trying to get the characters and form words. For instance, the string is going to be learning Java is fun. So I need to find out each of the words and the number of characters present in each of the words. So this is going to give me learning space 8, Java space 8 in different lines, is space 2, sorry, Java would be 4, number of characters is followed by 2, fun followed by number of characters is going to be 3. Now one of the error here is WD, cannot find symbol WD. So WD is going to be the new string, the word that you are trying to form. So let's go on to declare WD. It also go on to say WD.length. It doesn't understand the symbol WD. So we have already declared. Let me save it again and go on to compile it. Alright, so please understand this particular error. Variable WD might not have been initialized. So understand this line of code. We are saying that go on to concatenate the initial value of WD plus the character that we are trying to fetch. We are trying to fetch character from a specific index. So I need to start from 0 till the last value, which is at length minus 1. So if the number of characters in the string is 10, the last index is going to be 9. So I need to traverse throughout the length of the entire string to fetch the characters. So character at 0, character at 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise till the last index. We are trying to find whether the character is a space or not. Meanwhile, if it is not a space, we are trying to form a string. We are trying to form the word. So the very first character is L. So L needs to be concatenated with what the initial value is missing here, and hence you got the error. So let's go on to initialize WD with a null string. I save it again and try to compile it. Just wait for a while, it's just taking some time here. Alright, so you can see that this program is now compiled. So the initial value for WD was missing. So let's run through the program to understand. So this is not a space, not a space, not a space, not a space. So this is going to form the word by concatenating individual characters starting from 0 till here. And hence we are printing learning followed by the number of characters present in the word learning. Now again the loop continues. Once it is a space, we are printing the length and of course the word. So once I is here, again we got the characters and we are trying to concatenate the characters with the previous word. So this becomes learning J plus A, learning JA, V. So accordingly it becomes learning Java, which is not the desired output that we want. So let's try to compile it and go on to check the output. Java is going to be the command followed by strings. That's the name of the class. Meanwhile, after compilation, a .class file is also created. The .class file, the contents of the .class file is going to be the byte code, the intermediate language code. So the JVM is now going to interpret the .class file by the name of strings. So you can see that it's printing learning and the next word is concatenated with the previous word. But this is not the desired output that we wanted to. So what is missing here is when we want the other word to be formed, I have not reinitialized this to null, which means after printing learning and the corresponding length, I need to reinitialize WD to null. This is a very common logical error that we normally perform. I again save it and try to compile it first. Alright, it's compiled, so we are going to run the program, or rather execute the program here. So you can see it's printing learning. The very first word is learning, and then you have the number of characters present in the word. Java, length is 4, is the length is 2. Now what about fun? The last word is missing. Why so? Because once the space is encountered, it has printed is and 2. Again WD is null, I is here, it forms null plus F, F plus U, FU plus N. Fun is formed because the characters are not equivalent to a space. Now do we have any space after this? No, and hence you're not going to get fun accessed or printed on the screen. So when we enter the string, the very first thing that we need to do is, after trimming the string, go on to add a space at the last. So we have a space included at the last. Accordingly, now the string is going to be learning space Java space is space fun followed by a space. And hence once fun is formed, this is where I is now. So the character is going to be a space, the else is executed instead of an else. You can also go on to write the condition if the character ch is equal to a space. So fun is printed, and of course the length of fun is also printed, which is 3 in this case, and then the loop gets over. So what we are executing is actually the main method. What gets executed is the main method. Now most of the times this is what we tend to do. This is going to work in an IDE like BlueJ, but this is like any other method that you have chosen. This is not the main method, and hence please understand, when you are writing any program in conventional Java to be executed in the command prompt, this is going to be the header and the parameter for the main method. So this is the entry point of the program. So let's try to save it. I save the program, and once again I just clear the screen. I will try to compile it first. Any modifications in the source code, you need to resave it, save it again, and then you need to go on to execute it. So for execution, this is what we are writing. Okay, so see, it says main method not found, which means somewhere we made a mistake in the definition of the main method. So let's go on to understand the error. So if you can see, I have used the word strings, whereas the name of the data type or the class is going to be string. So this is one error which we normally ignore or cannot find out. Alright, it's compiled, and again I try to execute my program. So now we have the correct output: learning followed by the number of characters, Java followed by 4, is followed by 2, fun followed by 3. So this is the output on your screen. I hope this helps you a lot. I'm going to further come up with many more such videos where you can go on to understand the errors. This is very, very important for the students of ICSE to understand how to rectify the errors. Thank you so much.